For this reversible acorn placemat, I'm going to be using washaway stabiliser, my 5x7 hoop, cutaway stabiliser. I like to use this so that once the washaway is no more, I've still got my stitching supported. My double curved scissors. I've got two sets of matching bobbin and thread. One is for the cupule and the other one is for the rest of the acorn. I've got fleece batting, my fabrics cut to size, and some masking tape. I'm going to start off by hooping my washaway stabiliser. And I'm going to place my cutaway over the top, and I'm just going to hold that in place with a little bit of masking tape. If you're in America, painter's tape. I'm now going to pop that in my machine and stitch round number 1, which is going to give me an outline. I'm now going to place my batting over the top, and once again just add a little bit of tape so that it doesn't move during stitching. And I'm now going to pop that in my machine and stitch round number 2. Now I'm going to trim up all the excess batting, and I'm going to do the cutaway stabiliser at the same time. We're now going to start adding fabrics, so I'm going to turn my hoop over so that the back is facing upwards. I'm just going to trim these little threads here just so that they don't get in the way or poke out unwantedly. Okay, so I'm going to take my first stalk fabric and place it over the outline of the stalk. And I'm going to take that in place so that it doesn't move during stitching. I'm going to turn my hoop back over to the front and do the same on the front here. Now I'm going to place that back into my machine and stitch round number 3 that's going to attach the 2 fabrics. We're now going to trim up along the stitch line where we're going to add our next fabric. So I'm going to start off at the back. Let's trim up these threadies, remove the tape, and I'm going to trim along this stitch line, taking care not to actually cut the stitching, of course. Like so. And now for the front. Okay, next we're going to add our next set of fabrics, which is going to be the cupule. So I'm going to turn my hoop over and place my fabric over the outline of the cupule, and I'm going to take that in place. Turn it over and do the same for the front. Okay, I'm now going to pop that back into my machine and stitch round number 4 to secure both fabrics. Now that the fabrics are secured, I'm going to turn my hoop over as before, and I'm going to trim up along here and along this stitch line here this time. So let's just remove the tape for now. And now along here. And same for the front. And now we're going to do the same for the nut area of the acorn. So I'm going to take my fabrics and place them over the outline and tape them in place so that they don't move. And the same on the front. I'll now pop that in my machine and stitch round number 5 to secure them. And once again, I'm going to turn my hoop over, remove the tape, and trim up along here. I've changed over my thread to gold with the matching bobbin as well, and I'm now going to pop this back in my machine and stitch round number 6, and that's going to do all the decorative motif stitching all over the cupule. The next area to be stitched is the quilting over the nut. You don't have to do this if you want to retain a slightly fuller, puffier look. I'm going to be stitching it, so I've put my matching bobbin and thread back into my machine, and that's the green, and I'm now going to stitch round number 7. Now we're going to trim up all the excess fabric, both back and front. So I'm going to start off with the back. You see here, I actually managed to catch the green fabric in the cupule area, so it's something to be mindful of when you place your fabrics, or don't trim them back far enough, as the case may be. Okay, that's fine, it won't show. So now I'm going to do the same with the front. I'm now going to pop this back into my machine and stitch round number 8, and that's going to zigzag all the raw edges. Now that all the raw edges have been zigzagged, we're going to do the decorative satin stitch border piece by piece on the acorn, starting with round number 9. And that's going to do around the nut area. Next is round number 10, and that's the decorative satin stitch around the stalk area. And next is round number 11, and that's going to do the satin stitch border around the cupule. Okay, the final stitching is going to be the highlight that goes down the side of the nut, and that's round number 12. So now we're going to free this from the hoop, so I'm going to turn it over to the back and just trim around the edge of the acorn. Now set that aside. I've got some more mortar and a cotton bud here, and I'm just going to run it around the edge just to dissolve all the remaining wash away stabiliser. And there it is, our acorn placemat, or even coaster depending on the size you make. I hope you enjoyed this stitch along. If you did, please give me a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe to be notified of new videos as they're published. And thank you very much for joining me.